You ever work a job that seems harmless on the surface, but somehow something just doesn't feel right? That's how it was for me at Perk and Brew, a 24-hour coffee shop just off a quiet stretch of highway. Nothing fancy, just coffee, muffins, fluorescent lights buzzing above chipped countertops. I worked the night shift, midnight to 8, dead hours, few customers, except for the regulars and the last customer. But I'll get to him. Let me start at the beginning. My shift started like always. The manager, Tim, handed me the keys, said his usual line, "Don't let the shadows talk too much tonight." A dumb joke. He said it every shift. But that night, it hit different. It was unusually foggy outside, thick and slow, like it was alive. I watched it curl around the parking lot lights as Tim's car disappeared into it. The first few hours were quiet. Just me, the coffee machine humming, and the whirring buzz of that ancient ceiling fan that never spun quite right. It had this tick, 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 like a heartbeat. At around 2:13 in the morning, the bell over the door chimed. A man walked in, tall, pale, wearing a black coat that looked soaked, even though it hadn't rained. He didn't say anything, just stared at the menu, then pointed at the drip coffee. No sugar, no cream, just black. He paid an exact change $2.13, same as the time. I remember that because the coins were ice cold when I picked them up. I tried to make small talk. "You out driving tonight?" He didn't answer. He just stared at me like he knew something I didn't. He took his coffee and sat in the darkest booth at the back. Didn't drink it, just stared out the window, into the fog. That's when I noticed something. There were no headlights on the road. None. Not a single car passed by. The clock on the wall ticked past 3 o'clock. The man hadn't moved. His coffee was still full. Steam still rising, like it had just been poured. I looked away for a second to check the register, and when I looked back, he was gone. No sound, no chime, just vanished. I walked to the booth, confused. On the table, his coffee cup sat empty. No liquid, no stains. Just bone dry, like it hadn't held anything in years. I shook it off. Maybe I was tired. Maybe he left when I wasn't looking. The rest of the shift was uneventful, but the next night, he came back. Same time, 2:13 in the morning, same coat, same order, same exact change. And again, he didn't drink it, just stared into the fog. When I blinked, he was gone. The cup bone dry. It kept happening night after night. I started calling him the last customer because he always came right before the dead hour, right before the lights flickered, right before the ceiling fan stopped ticking for exactly 1 minute. After a week, I noticed something else. Every time he came, the clock on the wall, it would tick backwards for a few seconds. Like time didn't want him there, and each time I felt heavier. Like his presence dragged something into the shop, something old, something that remembered me. On the 7th night, I decided to confront him. As soon as he entered, I said, "What do you want from me?" He paused, looked at me with those eyes. They were wrong. Too dark, like they weren't reflecting light, like they were remembering me. And then he spoke. "You've been here before, 7 times. You always forget, but it always ends the same." He held out a small object. A key, old, rusted, covered in what looked like dried coffee grounds. "You left this behind. You'll need it soon." Before I could say anything else, he disappeared. That night, I couldn't sleep. In my apartment, the coffee machine turned on by itself. It started brewing black coffee automatically at exactly 2:13. The steam formed into something that almost looked like a face. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Do not look in the mirror." Of course I did, and in the mirror, I saw the coffee shop. Empty, except for me standing behind the counter, and him sitting in the booth, but this time I was in his coat. The next night, I went to the coffee shop early to check the security footage. Every night, 2:13, he walks in. Same motion, same seat. But when I paused and zoomed in, it wasn't a man. It was me. Older, paler, eyes black as oil. I was the last customer. I ran outside, heart pounding, and then I remembered. Tim's stupid joke. Don't let the shadows talk too much tonight. It wasn't a joke. I opened the drawer below the counter, where he always stored lost and found items. Inside was the same rusted key. Labeled in faded ink, apartment 213. That's my unit number. I rushed home. Opened the door. Everything was gone. No furniture, no bed. Just a coffee cup on the floor. I think I finally remember now. I was never working the night shift. I was always the last customer, and now it's your turn.